Well, good morning. It's coffee talk time. Hello. Figured I'd get on here and say hello because it was another early morning for me. Another early morning. Got up at 5 a.m., bright eyed and bushy tailed. About ready to get this weekend started. My gym schedule has changed on me though, so I have that at noon. So that's a big change to my routine. Oh, big change to my routine, but that's what I'm all about, man. Changing up the routine. Can't get stuck in the same routine for too long. I am a routine kind of person. I like my routines, but we can't get stuck in the same routine for too long. Once I start getting comfy with one routine, got to change it up after a little bit. Routines can be your worst enemy sometimes, just depending. I do think I want to get some more light in here though. In the morning, when I do these and I don't have that much light on me, the picture's fuzzy and pixely. Hang on just a second. I'm going to turn my ring light on. It might help a little bit. Help a little bit? Not really. Oh, well. What's up, y'all? There's a couple of you in here. We got Power of the P, Brittany Bowen, Maria. What's up, y'all? RTD2's in the house. And Paige, Patty. What's up, y'all? How you doing? Hey, do you like the decorations? I decided to go ahead and deck the halls, man. Decided to go ahead and deck the halls. I got the Dollar Tree special behind me here. We have this thing that we do. And it was actually a really good idea. This was Leah's idea. This is how we have been helping the kids, like, I don't want to say like walk a straight line, but get them in. You all know that when we very first got the kids, they were not in good shape. Okay. It was really bad. They were in a really bad place with their mom, and I had to come get them basically. And long story. I'm not going to get into details about that because not all that is my business to talk about. So anyway, we had a lot of work to do with the kids when we got them. We had to really, really get their heads screwed on straight. And one of the things that we do is we give them a list of like chores, little chores and stuff, like nothing big or major, just like clean up your bathroom and have your bed made in the morning, little shit like that. And then as long as they do it all week, they get like $1 for every chore or whatever. And at the end of the week, we take them to the Dollar Tree with the money that they earn, and they can pick out however many things at the Dollar Tree. You know what I mean? So like if they make $20, they can go to the Dollar Tree and pick out 20 things. And it's just fun. It's really, really cool, man. It's worked really good. That was a brilliant idea. And we just live right across the street from a Dollar Tree. So we were in there, and they put out all the Christmas decorations. And I was like, oh, I'm going to deck the halls, man. So I got the Dollar Tree special behind me here. And I got my Christmas tree. How you digging the Christmas tree? I got to get a star for it. I did forget that. I got one coming. It should be here today from Amazon. But yeah, we were at the at-home store. And I was like, man, I want a tree for my studio. I got to have a Christmas tree behind me in my videos, Got to have a Christmas tree behind me in the videos. Oh, and I got these nutcrackers. This is just something random. I saw these at Smith's. And I was like, dude, I got to have those. I always get all excited when it comes to like, any kind of holiday or something like that, or any way to change up the background of my videos. When I saw these two things at the Smith's grocery store, look at it. Oh man, I get excited over silly shit, man. I'm like a little kid sometimes, which is a good thing. Oh, it's a good thing. And I let the little kid come out in me. It's a good thing. Back in the day, I didn't used to be so happy. I used to be a very bitter, angry person back in the day, So over the past several years, I've really been working on letting the inner little kid come out, Anyway, what's up with y'all this morning? Yeah, the nutcrackers are cool, aren't they? I just wish I would have them right there. The original idea was to have them right there on my table. Back when I had my old setup, like my phone and that old table, I could sit things next to me while I was reading, like a bonsai tree or whatever. And but it you can't see it with this right here, the way the camera is and the shape of that table. If I put them next to me, you can't see them. The camera doesn't pick everything up like that. So anyway, though. Anywho, oh yeah, the eclipse was last night. That's right. We've been trying to figure out and get it straight when the celestial events are happening. I know the full moon's tonight, isn't it? Isn't the full moon tonight? We have a little special manifestation thing that we like to do on full moons, and we actually haven't done it in the past couple of full moons. We haven't felt like it, but we're like, yeah, we're going to do our manifestation little full moon ritual. Yeah, that's tonight. Okay, so let's see. Hang on. This is Scorpio season, so that would be a Taurus moon. Okay. Okie dokie. Yeah, whenever there's a full moon, it's always opposite of what the sun is. And a real quick, easy way. This is just for some people that struggle to memorize these things. The easiest way to find out a sign's opposite. Okay, it's actually really super easy. When this dawned on me, I was like, duh. So you always want to think air and fire, water and earth. Okay, you always think that. Always think in terms of elements that complement each other and go together. Okay, because in astrology, opposite actually means it's actually more the mirror image reflection. Because whenever you use that word opposite, you usually tend to think like night and day or totally completely different. In astrology, not quite so much though. Maybe in some aspects, but for the most part, it's actually the mirror image energy. Okay. So if you think about the elements that complement each other and go together and reflect each other, air and fire are mirror image reflections of each other. Water and earth are mirror image reflections of each other. And that's all you need to know. Now you just need to look at the quality: cardinal, mutable, and fixed. Okay. So every air sign's opposite is a fire sign of the identical quality. Every water sign's opposite is an earth sign of the identical quality. The whole zodiac wheel goes that way. So when you start off at Aries, the quality is cardinal, the element is fire. So the opposite is cardinal air, Libra. Whole zodiac wheel goes that way. Next up, Gemini, mutable air. Okay, its opposite is mutable fire, Sagittarius. The whole zodiac wheel, Aquarius, fixed air. Its opposite is fixed fire, Leo. Bam, the whole zodiac wheel goes that way. I was like, dude, that's pretty cool. I'm sure I'm not the only person that's thought about it like that, but once that I had that Ace of Swords moment, I was like, yeah, man, it's really so simple. So simple. Yeah, Beaver Moon. I've been hearing that. I thought somebody was joking the first time they said that. It said Beaver Moon. I was like, what? But anywho, was the eclipse? Was it like visual? Did it look cool? Did it look cool? I don't know. Anyway, though, Taurus with a Scorpio rising. Yeah, I figured that'd be cool. Somebody came to me for a reading. I think it was a personal reading. Yeah, somebody came to me for a personal reading the other day who had their sun and moon in opposite signs. And I actually think that would be kind of cool. I think that'd be kind of cool to like have the full spectrum of the energy. That's what that paints in my mind. Like, say if I had a Leo moon, for example, which I was really close to it. If I would have been born the day before, I would have had a Leo moon. I got a Virgo moon, but I think, is it before or after? Well, I was one day off of being a Leo moon, whatever it was, but that would be like the full spectrum of the energy, If you have two mirror image reflections of each other, that's the full spectrum of that energy. I think it'd be cool. It'd be interesting. I couldn't imagine Yeah, do you ever sit back and think? I mean, like really, really think, what would it be like? What would it feel like to be a different sign? You ever wonder that? Or do you ever see another sign and think, man, I wish I was that sign? You ever do that? I do that sometimes. I do that sometimes. I don't know, dude. I've always just liked the fire signs, man. I've always liked it. I've always liked it. I've always liked the fire element. Like, man, I wish I could be like a Sagittarius. I wonder what that would do to me. I wonder how different my personality would be. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. If I was, it probably wouldn't be a good idea for me to be a fire sign. It probably wouldn't. Probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't have very good control over my temper. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. I have one of the things that I've always kind of prided myself over is my control over my temper. That doesn't mean I've never lost my temper. I have a couple of times in my life. When I say lose your temper, I mean flip out and lose your temper. I can count on one hand the number of times I've lost my temper. And it was like when I was in my early 20s, and I was usually doing something like drinking. If I was drunk, something like that. I've never been violent. I've never hurt any person. You know what I mean? But I have a feeling that if I was a fire sign, like an Aries or a Sag, I probably would have been a lot more violent. I probably would have been, because just because I've never lost my temper doesn't mean I've never been angry. I used to be a very angry person, like very angry. I just was irritated and angry and pissed off all the time, but I had it under control. I didn't allow those emotions to make any I can't say they've made no stupid decisions for me. I have said some things that I shouldn't have said, and I've definitely done some things that I shouldn't have done, but I've never lost control of that. You know what I'm saying? Like if I did or said something stupid or mean or whatever as a result of my temper, it was thought through. It was premeditated, and I made sure that I wanted to say the thing that I said, or that I did what I did. It was very well thought out, and it's cool. I just don't really think that would have done me very well if I was a fire sign. You know what I mean? I don't know, dude. I just don't think that it would. But anyway, Aries with a Gemini moon. Okay. I knew it. I knew an Aries with a Gemini. Matter of fact, the person that I can't say that inspired me to read tarot, but the connection, I told you that I experienced a connection with a person that was really intense. And that story was the story that got me watching tarot. You know, she was an Aries with a Gemini moon. Yeah. So that was like, if I was ever going to be a cross watcher, I was always cross watching the Aries readings. I was always cross watching the Aries readings because like the story that I got into tarot for was an Aries, and the Gemini, the Gemini moon. So anyway, yeah, I think that's the only other person I've ever met with that energy combo. That's cool. But anyway, yeah, I think that's most Aquarians. Most Aquarians. Sometimes people can take for granted our control we have over our temper, as Aquarians. But I mean, every now and then somebody will push you over the edge. Everybody will push you over the edge, and that always scares the shit out of people. When an Aquarius really does finally snap, it's ugly, isn't it? It's ugly. It's ugly, and it scares the shit out of people, especially if they've never seen that. Oh yeah. I especially really try to, because when I do get mad to that point, it really is scary. Like it really is scary. I scare myself, and I don't want my kids to see that. You know what I mean? I don't want my kids to see that. They may have seen it once or twice, especially when I was a lot younger. I don't know if they remember it, but I wouldn't want to scare my kids like that, But yeah, most Aquarians that I've met, whenever if they finally get pushed to that point, it's ugly. Oh, it's ugly, boy. Yeah, it sure is. But anyway, anywho, I don't know. I've always kind of felt like your moon sign. Sometimes the moon sign seems to have more of an effect than the sun sign. We was talking about this the other day, but how many times I've tried to guess somebody's sign and I got it wrong because it was their moon sign. You know how many times that's happened? Many, many times. Many, many times. I'm like, you know what? You're a Virgo. And they weren't. They were a Virgo moon. Or you're a Cancer. Like I would put all my money on that, you know? And they're not. They were a Cancer moon. That happens a lot. Happens a lot. And for me, though, here's the frustrating thing. I wish I had a different rising sign. I wish I had a different rising sign because I have moon and rising in the same sign, Virgo. They're both in the same sign. So it's really hard for me to say which one. Like I can pick out my Aquarius. I can tell within me the Aquarius influence. And so I can kind of tell the influence of the sun sign. But as far as the moon and the rising, it's really hard for me to pick out because, you know, like if I had a Scorpio rising or a Aries rising or something like that, I think it would be easier for me to go inside and be like, oh, okay, well, this is the sun, this is the moon, and this is the rising. And it would probably be easier for me to explain, to help teach. But I can't, with the Virgo energy in there, I can't tell what's the moon and what's the rising. It's hard for me to tell, you know? Yeah, Virgo's a pretty cool energy if you know how to focus it right. If you know how to focus it right, if you don't know how to utilize that energy, it can be your worst enemy. Oh yes, it can. Because Virgo energy is very, very critical. Very, very critical. Now, that can, you know, be a good thing. That could be a good thing if you know when it's appropriate to be critical. Like if you take that critical perfectionist energy and you know how to focus it, you know, and with a clear intention in mind with an outcome, then that could be a good thing. But whenever you just are arbitrarily throwing that energy at things that it doesn't need to be thrown at, especially for too much, like yourself. Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. I spent way too many years extremely overcritical of myself. You know what I mean? Hang on. Oh, I spent way too many years very, very overcritical of myself. And not that you shouldn't be critical of yourself, but it ended up, obviously, I was so critical of myself, it ended up leading me to a suicide attempt. That's how bad I hated myself, man. That's how bad I hated myself. I just thought, well, I just don't even need to be here. You know, can't do anything right. Feel so out of place. Everything that I try to do, I do it wrong. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. Like I was just so critical of myself, man. So critical of myself. But anyway, I've never that now. Some of you know Leah has a Virgo moon too. We're both Virgo moons. And that has been, as far as energetically between the two of us, that's been one of the most challenging energies between the two of us, is when you can kind of tell. And here's when it comes out. Whenever we're doing some kind of project in the house. This is when it comes out, man. This is when it comes out, and that's when me and her start butting heads. Like say we want to hang like a big picture or something like that, or just something in the house. You know, that's when we both get down, and then we like those energies will start clashing. You know what I mean? Every time. And I know what it is. It's because two Virgo energies, you know, where our Aquarius and Sagittarius, we mesh together like two gears. We function as a unit, gears turning a machine. And then when those two Virgo energies, they go and they clash like that. So being energetically aware and energetically intelligent and understanding, oh, okay, well, let me just pull this energy away here. And you know what I mean? That's when it always comes out, dude, between me and her. That's when it always comes out. Yeah, that's not a bad energy, though. Yeah. She has her way that it has to be done this way. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Do it this way, you know? And yeah, every time, dude, every time. Even yesterday, we were hanging Christmas lights outside. You know what I mean? And yeah, we started clashing. And I'm usually the one to back away and be like, okay. And then as soon as I do that, she does it too. It's funny. We mirror each other, you know? when you start mirroring somebody energetically, you have to start realizing that, oh, okay, well, if I want this to go this way, I have to start doing it. That's the hard part. Whenever you ever been in a situation like that where you and somebody else are mirroring each other? Well, if you realize that that's what's happening and you take control of it and you say, okay, well, I want things to go this way. So you have to go inside and be the change that you want to see. Be like, okay, well, let me pull away from this. Okay. And then they'll start doing the same thing. Or maybe they're the ones that started it. Who knows? You know what I mean? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? But anyway, though, I don't know. Everybody always asks me what I think of Vedic astrology, and I said the other day that when it comes to astrology, the only thing that I look at is the energies. That's all I look at. That's all I look at is the energies and the behavior of the energies. Like everybody lets things that don't really matter get in the way, you know? Like I'm trying to, and it's still since then I haven't thought of a better way to explain it. But the only thing that I look at and the only thing that I care about is the behavior of an energy. Okay. I don't care what's going on up in the sky. I don't care. Maybe we find out one day the earth really is flat and there's something else going on up there okay, that's fine. I don't care. I don't care about that. All I care about is this is the energy and this is how it behaves. That's all I care. That's the only thing that matters to me because I specialize in energy behavior. So, I don't care what name it has or whatever the case may be. You could rename all the zodiac signs. I don't care. I don't care. Give them all different names. The only thing that I really look at is this energy right here has this type of influence and this type of behavior. You know what I mean? So there's like every last one of us who are in, I guess you would call it the metaphysical department, astrology, spirituality, things of that nature. We're all like a different piece of a puzzle. And what I specialize in is energy and how it behaves. And that's it, so as far as being an actual astrologer, I don't know too much about that. I can't really look up at the sky. And so far from what I've been hearing and the research that I have done, maybe some of you all could correct me on this, but from the research that I have done, it appears that most people nowadays who do claim to be astrologers don't even look up at the sky. They look on the fucking internet. And when I heard that, I was like, whoa, really? Okay. See, when I think astrologer, I'm thinking you're looking up in the sky, like, oh, okay, there's this sign right here. But apparently, from what I've heard, again, I haven't looked up at the sky, but one of the last people that I heard talk, if you look up at the sky, what's actually happening isn't what's on the internet, from what I've heard. I'm not going to speak that as an opinion. Again, I don't speak opinions that I know nothing about, and I honestly don't know because I haven't looked for myself. But yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. But anywho, yeah, the moon was pretty badass last night too. I posted that picture on my Facebook profile. Matter of fact, I'll put it on Instagram right now. The view from right outside my neighborhood. Hang on. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. I'm not going to give it a filter. Dat mundo. Hang on. Okay. There we go. Okay. So I just put it on my Instagram. That's the view from my house. Okay. Anyway, yeah, it was pretty neat looking. Oh, it was pretty cool. It really didn't, honestly, I didn't really feel a really strong effect. I might be though. I don't really know if I am feeling the full moon. It feels pretty good and smooth. So far. I don't know. Over the past week or so, though, I've been looking up to see if there's any retrogrades. Something's been going on up there over the past week, you know. But actually, yesterday for the most part, and this morning, so far, energy feels very. The energy in the air, the energy here in the house, the energy in me feels very smooth and cool. So kitties are doing good, being little butt heads. Looks like 3 moons. Anyway, anywho, yeah, I should probably maybe do some kind of like full moon readings. Maybe I should. I don't know. I gotta think. Well, no, today's Friday. Today's Friday. I got the weekend forecast, but maybe I could do a couple different all sign readings today. And then let's see, what's today? 19th. Oh, okay, cool. Okay. So maybe sometime this weekend, I might get started on December. But next week, we're going out of town. We're going out of town next week. So that's going to make working maybe a little bit difficult. Maybe. We're not getting a hotel either. We're staying at some family member of Leah's. We're staying at their house. So hopefully I got a place where I'll be able to, I'm bringing my MacBook, and hopefully, if readings come in, I'll still be able to work while we're out of town. Maybe that's the Virgo in me too. Maybe it is, because I don't like taking days off, man. I really don't. I don't like taking days off at all. Even on those days where I do go ahead and take a day off, I don't like doing it. I don't. Because the first thing that's in my mind is, man, now I got to do extra work tomorrow to make up for that, Now I got to put like where I make, like I said, minimum. I don't, and I don't even like, this is even too few for me, but minimum 2 videos a day on my main channel. Minimum. A good day is like 5 or 6. A good day as a tarot reader, which being a YouTube tarot reader is a very different, very, very different than other things that you can do on YouTube. It's very, very different. Very different. It's in a category of its own. So as a YouTube tarot reader, I think a good day is like 5 or 6 videos, about 5 or 6, But even on those days where I don't do anything on my main channel, I don't like it. Yesterday, I only did 1. I don't like it, I'm like, man. But you know what everybody always says, give yourself a break, get your energy bit, together. And that I just stick with that. Like, okay, well, if this is for my energy, then maybe it's acceptable, Yeah, I know. I've always been that way, man. I've always been that way. Even at work, even when I work day jobs, I wouldn't like to allow myself to rest, especially if it was a job that I kind of enjoyed doing, like a manual labor job. I would always go in early, work as many hours as I could, stay later. When the kids were babies and I was still with their mom, I was lucky to get like 2 days off a month. And I didn't even want those. I didn't even want those off days. I didn't even want them. So, you know what I mean? I was like, man, you got to work. That was back when I was in that old 3D mentality. You got to work to make money. Oh, at the time, I was very much wrapped up in that mindset. Got to work to make money. Yeah, you want to be consistent with putting the videos up. Yep. Yep. You sure do. But at the end of the day, I don't know. Always remember to step back and be thankful, that I have a job like this, that I can, make a very comfortable living and support my kids and my family. That's the main thing that I always wanted to do, was be able to provide my kids with what I had growing up. You know what I mean? Because I was headed in a bad direction, And after my grandfather passed away, then I vowed to myself, I will do whatever it takes so that I can provide my kids with what I had growing up, And after a certain point, I kind of gave up on that. And I thought, well, I guess I'm just a deadbeat dad then. Whatever is what it is. So the fact that I was given a second chance to be the father that I always wanted to be able to be is what I always got to thank the universe. You know what I mean? course, too, that probably, I can't imagine what that's like for them. You know what I mean? Because most people, when they think, okay, well, daddy's got to go to work, he leaves and he's gone all day. And in this house, when daddy has to go to work, he walks down the hall. You know what I mean? He walks down the hall and the kids have to be quiet. You know, that's, I don't know. I'm just thinking, man, what would that be like to grow up like that? You know, daddy works on YouTube. They used to brag to everybody, you know, my daddy's on YouTube. My daddy's on YouTube, you know. It always, everywhere they went, look him up, look him up. And, you know, they would always brag about it. And they begged and begged and begged until I got them children's shirts from my merchandise store. They'd wear them everywhere. That's my dad. That's my dad, you know. It was a blessing. Super cool. Definitely a blessing that I got that second chance like that, you know. Definitely a blessing. You know, we can always get a second chance. We always can, you know. But if you want a second chance, and this is anybody, this is whatever the situation is, if you want a second chance, then that means you have to utilize it and put in the work. I had to put in a lot of inner work. A lot of inner work. Okay, well, if I want a second chance to be able to live a life that you know I've never lived before, I got to become a person that I've never been before. That's the hard part. That's the hard part. That's the hard part. Because, and here, you know how I was talking the other day about how like, and it's a Dr. Joe Dispenza quote, but if everyone wants to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. You literally have to become someone else. Well, the thing about it is if you take a person, okay, and you just give them all the things that they want, those things will not, see, we get under the impression that the manifestation will change me, you know. Once the right person comes along, then I'll feel better. Once I make enough money, then I'll feel that feeling of peace and freedom that I want so bad, you know. Once I have a bigger house, then I'll feel, you know, just fill in the blanks. And it's not the way it works at all. It's not the way it works at all. You know, you're not stressed out about money because you don't make much. You don't make much because you're stressed out about money. That's the thing. That's the trick. That's the trick. You're not lonely because you can't find the right person. You can't find the right person because you're lonely and you're going and looking for a relationship out of loneliness. You see what I'm saying? This is the hardest part, man. That's the hardest part. That's the toughest part. Dude, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, dude. Right there with you. I had to learn these things too. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, you know? It was very difficult inner work. But at the end of the day, no matter what change you want to make in your mind, no matter what it is that you want to change, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. Same thing with fitness. Fitness is the same thing. Oh, it's never going to be easy. No matter what you want to change, it's not going to be easy. But when you take the discomfort that is caused by change, the discomfort of staying the same has to be greater than the discomfort of change. You know, you have to be more sick and tired of being in the same place than you are afraid of the discomfort of change. You know what I mean? That makes sense? Hang on, y'all. I'm going to open up my window. Oh. Anyway. Yeah, money is a tough one. That is a tough one. That took me almost 2 years. It took me almost 2 years to unwire my money mind, you know. Like, for example, you know what we all have our challenge, the thing that makes us cringe about money. Mine was gas, fuel, you know. That was my reverse manifestation, you know. Oh my God, gas is too much here. Oh, the engine on this car is too big. Oh, it gets too many miles to a gallon and that gas is too expensive, you know. Reverse manifesting, clamping the flow off of money. I was just screaming to the universe, I can't afford gas. So the universe, I didn't know this, was like, oh, Okay, you like not being able to afford gas. Okay, here you go. You know, all I was focused on was I can't afford gas. So that's what I kept attracting into my life was more situations that reflected me not being able to afford gas. You know what I mean? That's a silly example, but I'll never forget. And I was working on this. Once I started learning this, once I started really learning, oh, okay. So I have to put myself in the mindset like I already have it. I got to stop worrying about gas now. I got to stop obsessing over the prices at the store. I got to start doing that now. What does it really feel like to make 100 or 200,000 or 500,000 a year? I got to wire my brain right now like I already have it. So when it's time for me to go get gas, don't think about it, don't think about it, blah 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 blah. What am I gonna eat for lunch later? Blah, 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 and like distract myself, Don't think about gas, don't look at it, don't think about it, don't look at it, don't think about it, And it took me like a year of programming myself to get out of that worry, that cling, clamping off my money. And then it wasn't long after we moved here to Vegas that one day I'm cruising down the road and my gas light came on. And I was like, oh, okay. So I pulled into a gas pump, put the pump in the tank, and then it went, it clicked. So I shook it off, hung it up, closed the gas cap, took off. I was about a mile down the road when I went, whoa. I don't even know how much gas was back there. I don't even know how much I just spent filling up my tank. I didn't even think about it. Man, 5 years ago, I would have been cringing right now, And I was like, dude, it worked. I have reprogrammed my brain. And I make good money. You know what I mean? Whenever you tell people these things, they usually want to come back with, well, yeah, it's easy for you. You make a lot of money. No. I started programming myself to think this way before I ever made my first $100,000. I started programming myself to think this way when I was making minimum wage. I was making minimum wage, working in a car wash, scrubbing cars for tips. Every day I'd walk into work not knowing if I was going to make enough money to eat dinner that night. That's when I had to program myself to stop thinking about and stop worrying about money. And it was tough because at the same time, I was building online businesses, I didn't even know YouTube Tarot existed. I had no idea how it was going to happen. I didn't plan it out. I just got on and started digging a rabbit hole. Okay, I got to carve me out this new timeline. I have no clue. So I just got on there, started looking how to build an online business. Bam, started doing it. Started affiliating with different companies. Started, taking little courses on Google ads and Facebook ads and learning how to build websites and just started from scratch, and I just kept carving out that path for about a year and a half, man, about a year and a half. And then as soon as I let it go, bam, my YouTube channel popped off. You know what I mean? Blew my mind. I never expected it to be that. And I'll tell you what I wanted to do. I just wanted to have like a website, or maybe multiple websites. I wanted to be like a super affiliate. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be one of those super affiliates where I just built my websites and got paid massive commission payments from certain corporations and certain companies. That's what my goal was. That's what I was going for. I didn't want anybody knowing what I did. I didn't want my face to be out to the public. I wanted to hide behind my business. Man, what do you do for a living? Oh, I got an online business. I'm a freelance digital marketer. That's what I was going for. Is freelance digital marketing. So I worked on that, building that for about a year and a half. And the things I learned while doing that, man, I learned lifetimes worth of information on that journey, Oh yeah. Pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I hadn't touched a computer in 5 years. I hadn't even touched a computer. I mean, I played around on Facebook on the phones, but as far as opening up a computer and getting around on the internet, I hadn't touched a computer in 5 years. So to say that people were laughing at me when I told them I'm going to manifest a successful online business is an understatement. Oh man, people scoffed at me and laughed at me and told me I was an idiot and I should just stop doing that. Don't just focus on your day job. Just focus on the car wash, or maybe look at going to school and getting a real job. I heard all that bullshit. No, no, no. I'm going to sit at home on the internet and make 6 figures a year. That's what I'm going to do. Period. End of discussion. End of discussion. There is no if. There is no maybe. That's what I'm manifesting. That's what I would tell people. You know what I mean? Come hell or high water. I would rather die trying than just give up and go back to my minimum wage job. I would be much more satisfied if I died trying than to just give in and say, okay, well, I'll just go get a real job. I'll go to school and get a degree or something like that. No, that's not an option. That is not an option. It's not an option. I'm either going to become a successful online entrepreneur of some sort, or I'll die trying. One of the two, So, yeah. And I still, even knowing, like, throughout this whole process, I'm taking mind mastery courses. I'm being taught and learning how manifestation and law of attraction works. So I knew that it would be what you least expect. You're not going to be able to figure out how it's going to happen. I knew this. And it still blew my mind when it happened. It still completely and totally blew my mind when it turned out to be YouTube tarot card reader. I was a little bummed out at first, honestly. I was bummed. I was like, that's not cool though, I mean, some people might argue that, but at the time I'm like, that's not cool. What do you do for a living? I read tarot cards on YouTube. That sounds stupid. That was my thought process. I was like, that sounds dumb. That doesn't even sound cool, Freelance digital marketer. That sounds cool. I wanted something that sounds cool. What do you do for a living? Freelance digital marketing. Oh yeah? What's that? Just what I do. I ain't got to explain it to nobody, but it turned out that's not what universe had in mind for me, It's not what universe had in mind for me. Broke the mold. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, though. Yep, that's my story. Look at the world. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sitting in a room all by myself talking to a screen full of people. Yep. It's weird. It is weird. It's weird. Yeah, because I gave up on, and like I said, I tried to be a career YouTuber when I was in my early 20s, and then I gave up on that. I had one monetized video, and then there was like some invalid clicks on the ads or something. For whatever reason, my AdSense account got shut down. So in my mind, that's it. I'll never be able to be a YouTube partner, because I got kicked out of the program, or they disabled my AdSense account. And everybody always told me, man, if they do that, it's over. You'll never be able to make money on YouTube ever again for the rest of your life. And I was like, okay, well, that's over. That was in my mind. Like, that wasn't even a possibility in my mind to be a YouTuber. If you would have asked me, that's what I would have told you. No, it's over for me. I can't do that. I didn't even think it was possible for me to be a YouTube partner. You know what I mean? So once my channel started taking off, though, I was like, well, may as well try. What's the worst they're going to say? No. And then so I went ahead and applied for it and sat there for a month. And then I got that email. You've been approved. I was like, oh, sweet. It was over from that point. But anyway, yeah, you got to let it go. Yeah, you got to let it go. You have to. Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the thing too. I think that's the reason why all of those, like, and looking back, it's just so funny whenever you look back and watch how everything works and watch how complex but how beautifully everything flows. It's like, that's the reason why I was kicked out of the partner program when I was 22 or 23 or whatever. That's the reason why that happened, you know? Because if I would have even thought that being a YouTube partner was a possibility, I probably would have reverse manifested it by trying too hard, you know? If you try too hard, that'll reverse manifest, you know, that'll work against you. So it had to be something that I didn't even think was possible, because you have to be not thinking about it. The key to manifestation, part of it, the part that gets left out, this is what I teach my clients that come to me. The part that gets left out of the manifestation is how and when to not think about what you're wanting to manifest. It can't flow until you stop thinking about it. It can't. Period. That's not a theory. It's not my opinion. I save that for my personal clients. You know what I mean? But just take that. It can't flow while you're thinking about it. That's why you have to stop thinking about money. That's why you have to stop thinking about the outcome. That's why you can't be too specific. That's why you got to stop trying to figure it out with your logical, analytical thinking brain. It can't flow while you're thinking about it. Nothing can. Think about that. That's how powerful you are. You're more powerful than you know, dude. It's not just a cute little philosophy. That's not just a fun thing to say. You are. You are so powerful that you put a clamp on the quantum field of causality every time you think about something. And knowing how to undo that, knowing how to gain control of your own mind, and know how to acknowledge your focus and be able to remove your focus. That's the key that nobody talks about. That's the reason why there's so many people out there that can't figure out how to get the law of attraction to work, because that's the part that they don't teach. Yes, I mean, visualizing and all these things and this and that and the third. Okay, yeah, that's cool. But until you learn how to remove your focus and not focus on something and not think about something, nothing will manifest. That's the hidden part. And I do explain the science that goes into it in my personal readings and stuff. But that right there, if you can take that, that's the secret. That's the real secret. That's the real secret. Can't tell you how. You just have to figure it out. You got to go inside yourself. I liken it to being in a dark room, feeling around for a light switch. Okay. All these things that are inside of us, it's like you're in this dark room. Your average person doesn't even bother feeling around for the light switch. They just sit in the dark and say, well, I'm just waiting for a light to come on. No, you got to get around. You got to start feeling for the light switches. You got to go in here and start playing with it yourself. You know, I can't tell you how to do it. The only thing I can tell you is that it is possible, that you have to believe it's possible first. If you believe it's possible, you'll get up and start feeling for the light switch. If you get up and start feeling for the light switch, you will eventually find it, eventually. And you'll figure out how to take control of your own mind, how to acknowledge your focus, how to take control and be able to direct your focus from here to here. And the happiness switch, same thing with happiness. Same thing with happiness. It's like being in a dark room, feeling around for a light switch. Most people don't even do it. They just sit down in the dark. And they think, well, I just need somebody to come join me so I'll feel better. No, you won't. That won't make the light come on. No, it won't. You got to get up and start feeling for that switch. I can't tell you how to do it. The only thing I can tell you is you got to find the switch. And then once you find it and you flip it on, you'll be like, dude, why didn't I do this earlier? You know, some days are easier than others. But anyway, anywho, yeah, I'm still learning too. Do I do just law of attraction personal videos? Well, I used to. And even today, in my personal tarot card readings, I do the best that I can to fit it in there. Sometimes it won't fit, depending on the nature of the situation and the nature of the questions. and really the nature of the energy of the person. It's not very often. Most of the time, if you have come to me for a personal reading and I haven't taught you anything in the video about manifesting or law of attraction, either one or two or three reasons. Either A, it didn't fit, or B, you weren't in an energetic space to be able to understand it at the time. Like, because I can feel your energy and I can feel the nature of the situation. And sometimes people will come to me and it's like, man, if I say that, if I try to incorporate that, with the nature of this situation here, it'll make everything worse. It'll make everything worse. Then I won't do it. Then I'll just straight up read the cards. But I still can't really think of very many times where I don't at least give you a little energy tool, where I don't at least tell you, well, if you do this, or if you do, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to explain because every reading's different, but yeah, I used to, it depends. Sometimes I'll do that if somebody because for me, the base layout is 3 questions, and every now and then somebody will be like, tell me how to attract my life partner. Okay, I'll tell you that. And I'll break the whole damn thing down. And I have oh man, if I do the whole thing, that's about a 20-minute lecture. That's about a 20-minute lecture on how to attract your life partner and how we keep attracting the wrong people into our lives, So yeah, energy mechanic. I'm still learning too, though. I'm still learning too. So don't put me up on no pedestal or nothing like that. Some might argue that I'm an expert, but I'm still learning too. Yeah, I've been, that's the thing. Now this is for those of you who want to help people. People come to me all the time and they say, how can I help people? How can I be of service to humanity? Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for, because if that's what you want, the universe is going to make you learn how to teach what people need to hear. And guess how you learn? Universe puts you through it. Universe puts you through it. You have to go through all this shit and learn how to get up out of it before you can help somebody else. That's why they always say you must first help yourself. That's the reason why. There's so many people out here who are broken as fuck wanting to help people. You're not going to be able to help anybody until you start learning how to heal. Now, no, that doesn't mean that you have to be glowing and floating on a cloud, but you still have to start learning. You still have to go through some shit first. Let's just put it that way. You got to go through some shit first. You got to start at least making your way down that healing path, So be careful what you wish for. Careful. Because I get that question all the time. How can I be of service? How can I help people? Be careful. Be careful, because if you really want to help people, universe is like, okay, no problem. I got you. All right. You gotta take some classes first, though. You got to take some classes. So if you want to help people heal, universe going to break your ass. And then you figure out how to heal yourself. Then the universe will bring you the people that you need. Be careful. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. But anywho. Yeah, can anybody read for themselves? I can't really. Not really. It depends whether or not I can. If it's something that I care too much about, I can't. The cards won't even be accurate. The cards won't even be accurate because I can't even shuffle properly. I can't even shuffle right if I'm reading for something that I care too much about, No. I sometimes, though, if it's something I don't really give a shit about, let's see if I can think of an example. Like every now and then Leah will say, hey, babe, pull cards on my friend's relationship. Like, okay, I can read that easily, But if it's something like that I care about, like a life situation that I care about, like back when we were buying a house, you know what I mean? Will we be able to buy our house this year? Or will we find the house that we want this year? The cards won't even be accurate because I cared about that. I'm like, I couldn't even shuffle it right. The wrong cards would come out. So I usually can't personally. Yeah, it is hard to read for yourself. Very difficult. But yeah, I don't either. I don't go for tarot readings. Every reading that I've ever had has always come to me. Has always come to me. My very first tarot card reading that I ever got, I didn't even know anything about it. It just found me at the weirdest time. It was so random. Met a random stranger that says, "I need to read for you." Okay, I didn't know what it meant. I had no idea what the hell that meant. I'm supposed to read for you. Spirit is telling me that I need to read for you. You know, I didn't even know anything about it. Didn't know nothing about it. And I've only actually received, I think, 3 readings in my life. I've only actually received like 3 real readings. I mean, don't get it twisted. A lot of people have showed up in my inbox who have given me readings. You know what I mean? But first of all, none of them have ever been accurate. You know what I mean? But if you need a reading, the person that to me, if I really need a reading, it'll come find me. It'll come find me, and I can tell. I can tell. The second reading that I got was from Tracy, Psychic Tracy. That's what we call her. That's what me and Leah call her, Psychic Tracy. And when was the third one? Maybe it was only 2. Maybe it was only 2. I don't know. So I actually don't even really know what it's like to be like somebody who goes and buys a personal reading. There's some people out there that get their cards read all the time. I've had customers who will return like once a month, and that freaks me out. I'm like, oh shit, did I not explain this good enough? I'm like, am I not doing my job right? Then I start, there goes my Virgo energy. I start getting hard on myself. I'm like, shit, did I not explain this right? But yeah, I don't even really know what that's like. Don't really know what that's like. Like I said, the only reason I ever picked these damn tarot cards up is because I had a situation that I wanted clarity on. Now it's not that I don't care about that situation. It's just that situation served its purpose. The whole purpose of that connection that I experienced with that person was to lead me to here. So, it's not that I don't care about that situation that happened to me. That whole experience I hold near and dear to my heart because it served a tremendous purpose. But I just really don't find myself going to the tarot for clarity on things. Not really. Is that weird? Well, it's kind of like if you would imagine, I would imagine that if you own a pizza restaurant, you probably don't eat pizza. I would just assume. I don't know how true that is. You know what I mean? But anyway, though. Yeah, I know, Tanya. But that's just because, like I said, from my perspective, I don't mind return customers at all. I don't mind it. But my intention is to, if my goal was successful, if my goal was actually successful, after you come to me for a reading, you would never need another reading ever again in your life. You know what I mean? Now that may be a little bit outlandish. That may, they always say, don't aim. What you want to do is you want to aim high. I'd rather aim high and miss than aim low and hit. You know what I mean? So that's my goal. Is that successful all the time? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm sure for some people it is. I mean, I get testimonials every day on a daily basis. At least once a day. Sometimes 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. I'll see a comment. A comment will come through, a big long comment of how somebody's life has completely changed, from listening to some of the things that I teach and that I explain, or I'll get a message or an email, or something like that. So I know it's worked, but to what extent, I don't know. I really don't know. But that's where my mind goes, you know? And I don't get mad when you return to me. It's like I get mad at myself at first. My first initial response is, "Oh shit, did I not do good enough last time?" You know, and I know that's that. I know that's not like the right way to look at it. That's just where my mind goes. That's my overcritical Virgo nature. You know, man. Somebody came to me for look. Listen to this bullshit. Somebody came to me for a reading about a week or so ago. And this was like, I ain't even gonna lie, every now and then, as a tarot reader, a career tarot reader, you'll get them readings that you don't forget. I'll never forget this one. She said, I'm not going to drop no names or nothing like that. So if you're watching this, I'm not going to say any names or nothing. But she said something to the effect of, I had my own personal witch, you know. I'm like, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. That she would go to for like tarot readings and palm readings and stuff like that. And nothing wrong with that. But the person coming to me for the reading, she said, I started playing around with the tarot cards and I'm starting to learn how to do that stuff myself. And my personal witch told me I was not allowed to come back to her because I was using the tarot behind her back without her permission. And then I have to be gifted to do that or something like that. So I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you, dude, that pissed me off when I heard that. I was like, that has got to be the biggest crock of horse shit I have ever heard in my life. Says you're not allowed to come back to her because you've been using, like she owns you or something. I'm like, what? Hell no. You know what it is? You know what it is? She doesn't want you to know that she's a fraud. That's what it is. That's what it is. Because if you start learning how to do this yourself, you'll figure out how full of shit she was. That's what it is. That's what I told her. That's what came out in the reading too. First of all, she wanted a repeat customer. You know, she wants a return customer. This is my business. You know, just like remember back in the day when Apple used to make their phones breakable on purpose. Like you just barely drop this thing and it would shatter into a million pieces. Well, they don't make them like that anymore. They're actually pretty durable now. At least this one is. But you know, that's I have no respect for anybody, any tarot card reader, any psychic, if you're in the metaphysical community and you're an entrepreneur and you have your own business in the spiritual area, man, I don't have any respect for you if you are intentionally giving people things that are meant to send them keep coming back over and over and over again, because that means you're not helping them. You're not helping them. At the end of the day, okay, if you really have to keep coming back to me over and over and over and over and over, that means I'm not helping you. Every last human being on this planet has the power and the capability to communicate with the other side and do anything that they want themselves. You know what I mean? And to tell somebody that, like, oh man, that pissed me off when I heard that, you know? That fucking bitch, man. She has no business, you know, in this line of work. No business. She's the type of person that gives us a bad name. You know what I mean? I just couldn't believe that when I heard that, man. I couldn't believe that. Like, oh, I'm on this pedestal. I'm better than you. You need my permission. You need to be gifted to come. You know, I was like, oh my God. That almost made me want to smack a bitch. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Dude. Anyway, though, yeah, there are people out there like that. And straight up, if that's what you're doing, you're a piece of shit. I don't care who you are. If your goal is to create repeat customers, you're selfish. You're in it for yourself. You ain't helping nobody. You know what I mean? But anyway, I just figured I'd rant about that, man. That was crazy. So anyway, it is about time for me to get on out of here, though, y'all. This hour has flown by. I got to go get the kiddos up. And I'll be live later doing the weekend forecast at some point today. I don't know when, if it's going to be sooner or later. It seems like more people tune in, though, when I do it later in the evenings. So I might do it later on this evening. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I'll see you all later on my main channel. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.